I'd like to do more, but I'm going to do 10, 15 million in production on my own regardless. That's enough to feed my family, pay my bills right now. I'm more focused on taking people and changing their lives, man. I don't know why, but I really get off on that.
Hello.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Sorry I'm late. How are you?
That's okay. I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
How long you been with Keller Williams, Tommy?
About 8 months.
Wow, fresh out the
Yeah.
box, huh?
That's right. Yeah, a lot to learn.
How's your family doing in all this madness?
We're hanging in there, man. We're blessed, man. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people not doing good, but we're doing okay.
You obviously know what's going on with Pennsylvania, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Do you do business in both states?
I do business in Maryland and Delaware, not Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's rough, I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the governor just, I don't know. I mean, he's letting you can go get Rita's water ice, you can go buy a car, and you can play golf, but you can't sell a home.
Is there transfer tax in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there wasn't. Maybe that's why they didn't care about the realtors up there.
No, it doesn't make sense to any of us. So
yeah, I'm talking to Matt Fedek every now and then. It's just crazy up there. It sounds like. So
tell me, Tommy, what you got kids? You got children?
Yeah, two boys.
Two boys. How?
17 and 12.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
what are they feeling trapped, or are they going nuts, or?
My oldest, my 17-year-old, he's a big athlete, so he's feeling a little trapped for sure. My youngest is into riding four-wheelers and hanging out, so he's not too bothered by it yet.
So you're 17. He plays football?
Football and baseball, yeah.
Okay. When you say big athlete, was he doing good before all this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We travel quite a bit for baseball. We go to Florida a couple times a year, and he's here, there, and everywhere usually. But now it's nothing happening, so we're just training.
What college is he? Like Division I, like type of athlete?
Yeah, he's probably D1 baseball. He's a football guy too. I don't know if he's quite got the size for D1 football, but he's trying to go to West Virginia. So he's not big enough to play West Virginia football, I don't think. But we could probably get on the baseball squad for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now is he what's he play at football? What position?
Fullback and linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played outside linebacker in college, so
I got you.
Yeah, I was about 250 then. I'm like a touching 2 now, so I've definitely lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. So sports.
So how'd you in 2019? I know you're in the top 100. How'd you guys do? How was your business? Like, what's your business look like
right now?
Yeah.
Well, it's steady. It's good. I'm still busy. I'm never as busy as I want to be, of course. But we're doing pretty good. We're hanging in there. I'd say we're maybe 70% this year from where I was last year this time, but I'm still staying on my database. I have a pretty decent referral network. I know a lot of people locally, so that certainly helps my business.
What's your team look like? You got admin. What do you have?
So depending on how deep you want to go. So when I came to KW 8 months ago, I was with a team that consisted of about 4 agents and 3 owners, and I got.
So you were a partner of a team with 3 of you?
I was, yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
More.
That sounds very complicated.
Well, that's a good way to put it. So we started off. I had known one of the owners of the team. They had, long story short, me and one of the owners had gotten into real estate together at Long and Foster about probably about 4 years ago. And I started as a single agent on a team, a pretty big team locally, and you know, got into real estate and was like, man, what are we doing here? I don't know what to do, and kind of took off, man. I guess I found my niche. Kind of took off, kind of outgrew their team structure, and was looking for something a little more. And all the while, I had Bridget Taylor calling me, you know, every 2 days. Hey, you should come to KW. You should come to KW. And we had met a couple times, but then there was another local Remax brokerage. And I knew the owner of that pretty well. So I thought maybe that at the time would have been a better fit. And, you know, and I had these visions of starting this big giant team and, you know, setting the world on fire, and did well at Remax. I got up to around 10, 11 million in sales a year on my own, which where we're at is pretty good because our average sales price is $180,000. So I'll let you do the math. That's a lot of units. Started to get pretty big there, and realized that Remax wasn't really team oriented, I guess, or didn't really support or have the support system for a team. So, you know, I talked with that owner who I'm still friends with today, and she acknowledged that Remax probably wasn't a fit for what I was trying to do. Again, all the while Bridget Taylor calling me every 2 days still for over a year now, or 2 years or whatever it's been. And then the buddy that I originally was with at Long and Foster made the move to Keller Williams. So I was a couple months behind him in doing that. We started a team. It was 3 owners and probably 3 or 4 agents. So I said, look, I'm pretty good at recruiting. So I said, let's start recruiting some good agents. So we did. I went after a few bigger agents who were producing and doing very well. Without getting into too much, it was very complicated. I'm very P&L driven, and I just felt like some of the things that I was more focused on, some of the other owners weren't. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go kind of do my own thing. And when I left to essentially become a single agent, I guess, a lot of the producers there wanted to follow my leadership. So they did. They all kind of jumped and became single agents. So currently we're in the midst of forming somewhat of a team, if you will. But currently we're kind of single agents, just kind of all getting under one roof, bouncing ideas off of each other and masterminding as much as we can. So that's kind of where I'm at today. And this has all been within the last few weeks. So
Tommy, I've done this. You know, I probably should have started. I think you know who I am, but obviously being a regional director, I do wear a lot of hats. I'm a mega agent myself. My team does, you know, right around 25 million. I own a few market centers, and I'm operating principal of one. And obviously I lead the region. But I've had discussions with top teams like yourself. I was just talking to one of our top teams in the region. Actually, I have been several times. They're a duo. However, when I did the organizational review, we started to figure out like what roles each had, because you could see the confliction of roles. And when you start to hire and build a team, it gets confusing because, you know, who's doing what, or John tells them, Tommy tells them, and they're like, well, who's leading me? What's going on? Like, it gets confusing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the KPA is a great tool we have, career visioning, that allows you to see where your strength zones are behaviorally, whether it's the rainmaker, operating director, listing lead manager, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. And then you take that assessment collectively and start figuring out, well, who should be in what role. And then you start to layer the millionaire real estate agent model, mm-hmm. because that model is not Gary Keller's model. That model's the model of top agents in America that said, this is how we function to be systematic, models driven, and usually it's an operational functionality, which is the middle of your organizational chart, and then to the right would be your lead gen or your sales division. Well, your sales division part where your buyers and listing agents live and how that looks. Now, one of you could be the lead listing individual or manager because you guys are the lead listing agent, right?
Right.
And then one of you might be very great operationally with staff and saying who's doing what and back to the P&L, how much money are we making? What's the cost of sales? Who's doing what? Who's thriving? Who's struggling? Who do we need to help? What kind, what are we spending as to what we're getting in return? And then the left side of the org chart would be your lead gen side or your ISA or wherever you guys have your marketing listing world living and what that looks like. Smaller teams, they probably mix the two together, and as you grow, you'll start to expand. So my job, or what I could do maybe, is get on a call with you and your other teammates and maybe go through an organizational discussion to support you. Because what'll happen, and matter of fact, I just spoke to a team of 3, and I got to look at, they sent me, I gave them homework, which I would give you guys homework. And I said, number one, you all should take the Keller Williams personality assessment and figure out where you behaviorally are a match. 2, write what your organization looks like right now. So you would design, okay, what it looks like, who goes where, what you each do, which is important.
Yeah.
And then what you would love to look like in a year from now. So that's the challenge. Okay. So you got to take all that data of your behaviors and then what it looks like today, and then play with it, break it, and then put together a semblance of what you guys think the future would look like. And will that allow you guys to get to your goals or not? Right.
Yeah.
And then from there, we start to figure out, all right, that doesn't really match. And this is a duplication, and who's responsible for this, who's responsible for that, and will you get your goal in this situation, and is this sustainable? Because a lot of people create things that are just not sustainable too.
Yeah, one of the things we ran into with the team that I recently left, even as an owner, is that I was fully buying into the Oracle, right? So all the Keller Williams stuff that's out there, we were paying, I don't know, $4,000 a month for Boomtown, which is great, right? Boomtown's great. But Command's right there, right? And it almost does the same thing. And from a business standpoint, I'm going, okay, we're bleeding money here. But we could plug into Command for whatever, I don't even know what it is, $50 a month or whatever it is, the tech fee or whatever, and save ourselves quite a bit of money. They in a nutshell, they wanted to do things their way, and I've read the MREA about 15 times, and I've read Shift at least 5 times in the last 2 months. And as all this stuff starting to come down the pipeline with the COVID-19, I'm going, man, did they see into the future when they wrote this book? And that's how I was trying to model my business. My wife was in the dental field for a long time, and one of my goals was, to bring her home and plug her in as an admin. I've been able to do that. So that's kind of rocking and rolling. So I'm pretty heavy on the KW structure on how that needs to work. And, I'm fully 100% focused on that right now and try not to let anything get in my way. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
So right now, if I had to ask you what your organization looks like right now, it's you and then an admin.
Correct.
Okay.
And then probably, I guess, about 3 buyer agents. One of the guys, I actually got him into real estate about maybe a year and a half ago, maybe close to 2 years, I guess. Handpicked him, helped him get his license, and he'll do 7 or 8 million this year. We kind of formed, in the eyes of KW, a partnership, if you will, and we're kind of letting that sit there and do its thing. We have a team name, but this time we're going to be very calculated about how and when we launch the team name, and we just want to have the infrastructure.
Do you have a coach?
I don't. Bridget keeps telling me I need one and I should do one. And
Even if you did one for a short time, especially during this, what you're trying to do, because why reinvent it? If you had someone kind of like, and I'm not saying what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm saying that sometimes when you spend so much time trying to develop things that are already there, your coach will keep you kind of like here.
Yeah.
Or maybe you should do one more rep, or maybe you should think about this a little bit harder, or this makes more sense than this, because you'll have different pieces of what makes sense and what doesn't to get you to your goal. And I think and again, I can help too, but I think a coach would be more focused in on just your team and your success. Just a thought, because I think, especially if you haven't done this before, you're going to probably be somewhat entrepreneurial when purposeful might be the answer to it, being.
Yeah.
So, and the shift book and MRA are a good start. I mean, they really do spell it out, but still kind of smacking you a little bit when you need to be smacked and saying, hey, we got to because you'll go over here and no, let's stay here. Let's not go over there. Let's stay here. So that would be my recommendation. And I'm kind of doing that now. I'm partnering with a $7 million producer now. Again, when I say partner, meaning they're going to work for me, but I call it partnership.
Right.
But it is a partnership where they're going to be doing a lot of leadership things inside my company, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to be a partner, economically a partner. But right now it's more of a logistical partner, and then maybe in time will be a equity or financial partner, which maybe is the case for you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it sounds like pretty much the same thing. He's coming in. He's going to help me, like you said, logistically and help me fine tune things. And one thing he always laughs, because I think what you were saying a minute ago is a lot of people tend to get focused on, hey, I need to do this training, I need to do this, I need to do this, and they forget to sell houses, right? So that's one thing I always tell my team, like, I appreciate you doing this and going here and reading this book and doing this and doing that. But at the end of the day, the fuel for the vehicle is to buy and sell houses. So that's one thing we've been doing, man. I've been blessed. I'm a big time drag racer locally.
Wow.
And I used to have a shop, and so everybody kind of knows me in the area for that. So one day I had put on Facebook, I put some post out about a settlement, and the guy replied and said, "Man, thanks for getting us to the finish line." And I was like, wait a minute,
ding,
light bulb went off. So I branded myself the Racing Realtor. And it is absolutely taken off. I mean, it helps, because now I go to the track, and not only does everybody, know me as a Racing Realtor, they don't want to just talk cars now. Now they want to talk houses.
Hey, no one can sell it faster than me.
That's it, man. I mean, there's so many taglines that come off to the finish line. If you ain't first, you're like, there's millions of them. So that
you could do a lot of Ricky Bobby stuff.
Yeah, man. There's so much stuff. That's a great movie. One of the greatest.
I love it too.
It's good stuff. But so that kind of helped kickstart, a lot of things, even to the point where, some of the partners on the team that I just left recently, we were in a manager's meeting one day, and they were like, "Man, you got to tone that Racing Realtor stuff down, man. You're starting to outshine our group." You know what I mean? And I, politely was like, "That'll never happen, because, that's a self-brand. That's something that's going to be with me forever." So, now I got the buyer's agents coming on being like, "Hey, how about the Racing Realtor and the pit crew?" You know what I mean? It just keeps on.
I love that.
Going. Yeah, man. So that was pretty cool. That's helped my business quite a bit. And for the public that doesn't know anything about racing, just thinks, hey, the Racing Realtor, he's going to get me to the finish line. Whereas the other side of that, all the race car people are like, hey, man, so it's
there's so much you can do with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. There's a lot.
So I'm a couple of questions I had too. So why Keller Williams? What made you come?
Well, I'll tell you, like I tell everybody, and they kind of laugh at first, but it's true. So why I came to Keller Williams is because Bridget wouldn't stop calling me. Right? She was so persistent.
I've heard that often.
Okay, well, good. I don't feel so bad now, but and I told Matt the same thing. And honestly, that's kind of what it was. I had started to dig into KW a little bit, as far as teams and just kind of the structure, the splits, the support system that they offer. I kind of knew about it, but so I was like, you know what, I'm ready to make a jump. Bridget says this is a good spot. I trust her. I'm jumping in. Kind of did my own thing, tried to reinvent the wheel for about, 7 months or so. And then I realized, man, there's a lot out there that they do offer. So originally I came because Bridget wouldn't leave me alone, but now I'm starting to see, the things that can help me become successful a lot easier than I was anywhere else. I guess anywhere else I just kind of felt like it was just me, right? You know what I mean? And I was just kind of trying to do my thing and chug along. But I feel like KW has that support system that's like, hey, man, if I'm not sure about this, I can jump online, or I can call Bridget, or I can call Lit. You know what I mean? It's just the support system, I guess, is now why I know I made the right choice coming here. At least I feel like.
No, listen, I mean, I was with Century 21 for 14 years before I came to Keller. This will be my 8th year. And I will tell you the same thing here is, I was able to do, $30 million. I was a state trooper too. So I was able to do both at a high level for a lot of years. And it took me a while to say, you know what, either I want to be a practitioner, which is somebody that practices real estate.
Right.
And, if I'm not doing the job, it doesn't get done per se, to the business owner where I started to leverage people to do things. I let systems do things. So that way, if John Clady got hit by a bus, the party still goes.
Yep.
I would say 97% of our realtors don't have that system set up. So it's only a few of us that figure out how to leverage ourselves where the business keeps going. And that's important for you. You have a family like I do. That's why I came here, because I was like, God forbid something happens to me, the Clady Group's done.
Yeah.
Like literally done.
Right.
Because I'm 70% of the business, 80%, 75% of the business. Now I'm not. I mean, I'm maybe 40 of my business now, the sales business, and the 60s my team. Which is, I would love it to be even less.
Right.
but and I don't do listings and anything, but I mean, I generate the listings and I give them out, or the buyers and I give them out, where I would rather, just the systems do it. Well, I guess really it's not me, because my database is what's spurting out, not me, but
sure.
But ultimately it's my database that's creating the business for the team, which makes sense anyway. But I just think for you is making it such that, if the goal is to grow really big, which I'm thinking it is, you're going to have to hire some really talented people. So you're going to have to really get good at some of the other tools like the KPA and career visioning, of how to hire talent, how to be okay with letting that person do, the things that you might not want them to do because you're scared.
That's the hard part for me right now.
Yeah, that's for everybody. But just know, what's the old saying, if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, you're insane.
Yep.
So that's where you'll have systems to help you. So if you hire someone to do A, B, C, D, and E, and you're watching them do A, B, C, and D through your metrics, whatever that is, whether it be, they need to do X amount of contacts, X amount of appointments, X amount of conversion, they need to make this certain amount of money, whatever it is, you can track it daily, weekly, and know what they're doing. Your admin, if they're supposed to enter X amount in the command, they're supposed to transact 5 deals, they're going to follow up with this, they're going to send out these newsletters, that, whatever. You could track it. Hey, how'd you do this week with this, and this? And then if they continually not do it, then there's your conversation. And if they continue to do better, now you continue to pour into them and make them better. So that way they get the next opportunity, or they get to hire someone and grow your organization. And that becomes contagious in itself, as opposed to either one could become contagious. Bad hires become contagious,
right.
and good hires become contagious in a good positive sense. So that's where you come in as a leader, because if you're the one that's always striving and leading and no one else gets a chance to do it, so how do you expect your organization to grow?
Yeah.
So that's where you have to take advantage of this company and really trust, like the Sixers or whatever you want to trust the process.
Yeah.
You do trust the process. And the cool thing is you create the process. It's your business.
Yeah.
You create it to how the MREA says, I have my copy here. We all do. The MREA says what it says. However, it's still your business. You're going to make decisions that are predicated around your business, your culture, your values. You're going to take a lot of what it says. But listen, Gary Keller's, he ran the business what's best for him. Tommy's going to run it what's best for him too, with pieces of that, and I'm the same way. Like, just because Gary says it doesn't mean it makes sense for me, right?
Yep.
I'm a realist, but he's a smart guy. So I would say 75-ish helps me. The other 25 is going to be my flavor.
Well, it's nice to hear you say that. Most people are 100%, you know what I mean? But for me, just like you said, and I do that with everything in life, right? So I sit back and analyze, and I say, okay, I'll take, this, and this piece, and I'll put it together with my piece, and then we'll have this great thing that works best. So that's something I've been doing, and I like, again, here at Keller Williams, I tell Bridget all the time, one of my goals is I went to Mega Camp last year, and I want to speak on the panel. Like, that is my number one goal in life right now, is to speak on the panel at Mega Camp or any bigger function.
So obviously I'm the regional director, right? So we have a pretty big, we have panels too.
Yeah.
So maybe start regionally.
Sure.
And just so you know, part of what we look for panelists are that you're plugged in, that you're cultural, that you don't just help yourself, meaning you're either on the ALC or you're training inside the market center. Because the reason how you get on panel is because you've done something incredible or you've helped people along the way, or both, right? So your numbers will do some of the talking, but the rest would be all the outside stuff that you do to support and grow your company as well. So, we have, some of the top teams in America here, the McCanns and the condo shops and all that, we have some big ones here. So, I think for you, maybe tell Bridget, hey, listen, I want to be on a regional panel soon.
Yeah.
How do I do that? And part of it would be, obviously being one of the top agents in your market center first, training and plugging in there, using the tools and systems, like getting good at command and how it can get you more money and save you more money and all that stuff. And then, your leadership will tell us, hey, Tom's crushing it. He's doing this. His virtual open house is incredible. And then we would probably want to have you on and to do things for us and support us on regional events or top 100 events and things like that.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, because now that story will go and circulate into the national, regional to the national perspective too. So, and listen, you don't have to be, I've learned this too. There's $300 million teams that I'll tell you, there's people in our region that have one person in the admin and make more money than that team. Yeah. So just know that it doesn't need to be real big to be real profitable.
Yeah.
That's what's important, is the profitability. I could care less if you got 30 people.
Yep.
I care that you keep your GC, you keep that profit at the end of the day. That's what's impressive. And that's what Gary's doing now. I mean, panelists don't even get on without giving their P&Ls.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And quite frankly, the team I left was the direction they were heading in is that, we weren't leading with revenue, right? And every month we came up talking about the P&L, and I'm like, why spend $6,000 a month on Zillow? Like, what's the ROI on that? What's our ISA doing? And just nobody really wanted to talk about that. And their answer for everything was, well, let's just recruit more people. And I'm like, but the problem is, if you're in the negative now and you recruit more people, you're just going to continue to be in the negative. Like, that's not how you get out of the hole.
Or you're bringing more people on into your business that also now are struggling.
Correct.
You're giving
it's a vicious cycle.
You're showing a real bad example.
Yep. And so that's one of the reasons I'm any business I've ever had, the P&L is like the P&L. You know what I mean? Like, we go over that heavily. And it just didn't seem to be a big deal where I was at. And, you know, not to get too much into that, but they weren't plugged in, man. They wanted to do things their way. They wanted to do things the Long and Foster way, although they're at Keller Williams now. And it just didn't work for me. And Bridget, you know, I had a very heartfelt conversation with Bridget and let her know that I was going to be leaving and, you know, either doing my own thing or starting this other team. And she said, well, what's your why? You know, when she first started calling me, recruiting me, I had never heard that before, as crazy as that sounds. What's your why? So I tell you, man, for months I laid in bed and all day I'm walking around like, man, what is my why? Like, I tried to force things to be my why. And then I helped that guy, Steve, I was just telling you about. I mean, he was landscaping 60, 70 hours a week and just great guy, struggling. I thought, man, this guy would kill it in real estate. So I brought him into real estate, man. I watched his life change. The day he came, I said, look, man, I need you to write 5 goals on the board, 3 of them for business, 2 of them for personal. So, of course, everybody goes, right, I want to do $1 billion in production, right? I said, okay, and then we kind of mapped that out. I said, well, how do you do that? So we did that. And then his first personal goal was I want to buy this new Audi, right? He's a big car guy. So I'd say within the first 8 months, man, he went and bought his Audi. So you know, of course, what I'm getting at is I think I discovered that my why is helping people, right? When he pulled up in that Audi, I'll never forget, as long as I live, the look on that man's face, right? And he feels like he's forever in debt to me, and I keep telling him he's not, you know, just right place, right time. But I think that's my why, man. I think helping people is my why, and, you know, I told Bridget that, and, you know, Bridget's in a tough spot from the team that I just left because I recruited all the top producers, and chances were when I left, they were going to come with me. And I wasn't trying to strip that team down, but that's what I told her. I said, you know, my why is, I think I found it. You know, when I can watch somebody who was landscaping and struggling and driving a 1991, whatever he was driving, to buying his new Audi, man, that did it for me, right? So I tell everybody still to this day, you know, I'd like to do more, but I'm going to do 10, 15 million in production on my own regardless. That's enough to feed my family, pay my bills right now. I'm more focused on taking people and changing their lives, man. I don't know why, but I really get off on that. So
well, I will tell you, I love hearing that, and that's the story. I think that the value proposition that you sell to the world, that it's not about money; it's about helping others achieve their goals, so that you can achieve your goals during that. Yeah,
and that's the story.
And I wrote a book about it because I'm very similar to you, where it was like, you know, I left the state police really, and it sounds crazy, but I felt like I stopped helping people. You know, the higher I got up as a state trooper, the more I was in closed room buildings and just leading like a little small group of people that just really didn't want to be led anyway. Yeah. Because they were government workers, right?
Yeah. So, I was in corrections, man. I was a
so you know, right?
Wow. So I get it.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot. And like you said, I could probably help so many more people from this perspective and help my family at the same time, which is so cool about this company. And I think Keller Williams will give you the platform that literally, you know, 8 months being here, you're here today. I will tell you, 5 years, you're going to go like this and wake up and you're like, oh my God, like, look at this world I just created. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened to me.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah. So I will tell you, you know, whatever you want, you can achieve. But the thing you said earlier is so true, is plugging in. Because even when I left Century 21 and came to Keller, I didn't plug in for 2 years. I was an operating principal too. And I just kind of still was running it like my sales team.
Yep.
And it took me time to really understand the career visioning process, to understand the training and bold and all this stuff mattered. And I thought my mindset was in the right place, but it really wasn't. And then once you get it, then you got to figure out how do you show others, right. You know, how do I motivate and lead and inspire others to do what it just took me 2 years to do.
Right.
So that's the challenge that you'll have next, is now that you believe it and you're bought in, how do you get others to come along the ride? And Steve's a perfect example. And then Steve needs to, you know, you need to use Steve's story to get others, and Steve's going to have to pay it forward too.
Yep.
Because I will tell you, he reminds me of a girl on my team. Same scenario. She had this goal to buy a shore house in Wildwood, and she's been on my team for 10 years now, but this happened like 3 years ago. And I tell you, the minute she did that, they got the shore house, it was like womp, like almost like her energy and everything just left.
She peaked or something, maybe.
Yeah. So and financially, I seen her struggling though. So I was like, we got to figure out what the next big thing is for you to motivate you to go do what you just did.
Yep.
So as a leader, you got to keep them in line because, some people hit a goal and they're like, I got it. Right. No, you got to now pay for that car.
That's right.
Or whatever. So I think, the development path, really asking Bridget or looking on KW Connect, figuring out for you your own development, because you got to keep developing as a leader too.
Yeah.
So the way you can motivate and lead others, would be the next phase. So last question. So what do you think a year from now? What's your business look like?
I'd say a year from now, I got this crazy goal. I want to do 65 million a year. I don't know if we'll be able to do that in a year, but we're certainly headed in that direction.
So where are you at right now?
Collectively with the people that left, we're probably 20 to 25 million probably.
All right. So you're there. I mean, I know it's a little challenging in this market, but
yeah,
you could do it. And I think I think things are going to really ramp up once the gates are let off for us.
Yeah, I think so.
We just got to be prepared to go and take off when it does.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. We've been, me and my partner Steve, man, we just been grinding every day.
I love that.
Some people are, Steve's famous saying is, some people are sitting back with their feet up right now. You know what I mean? Eating Cheetos on the couch, and we're constantly on the phone every day. We're meeting every day. So, and then we're like you said earlier, we're kind of paying it forward to some of the younger kids on the team. Not to bore you to death, but one of the younger kids that came over with us was really struggling at the other team that we were on, and he wasn't plugged in, right? So everybody that's came with me was living that other model, and they've came with us now, and everybody's kind of plugged in, and they're like, geez, I had no idea. And I'm like, neither did I, so we're all kind of learning it together. So, yeah, I mean, I want to do 65. It's going to be tough this year. I feel like we were really close to being able to do that, but with everything that's going on, it slowed us down a little bit, but we're still grinding, man.
My advice to you would be to look at your goals. Hopefully they're in writing, and look at what our life looks like today and revamp it, knowing your strategy has to be different. Your goals maybe have to be different. And then once you figure it out, you're going to need to articulate that to your team.
Yeah. And
then you're going to have 4-on-1s or weekly playbooks for each of you to figure out how you're going to achieve those goals, right?
Yep.
So that way there's no missing pieces, like Tommy knows, Steve knows, Jenny knows, everyone knows what they need to do. And every week you should be reviewing, all right, we were supposed to do 5 million this week. We're supposed to have this many contacts, many appointments. Where are we at? Yep. And then you start to see who's doing what, who's not doing, who's excelling, who's not. And then, hold your team accountable to whatever the goals are that you've articulated. Because, if 65 million is the goal and you have a plan to get there, I don't care what pandemic. There's some people thriving right now.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah. So I would say go for it, and let me know how I could support you on a regional level or if there's something that I could do or at least the resource that you need. Now you have another person that can help you inside.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me, Tommy?
No, I think you've answered a lot of them. Like I said, I just want to get to a point where I can tell my story to somebody who's listening, right? Because again, my why is going back to that guy, Kenny, the young kid that just came on and we got him plugged in. I mean, he almost cries when I sit down and talk with him because he's like, man, I love when you pour into me, man. And I pour into him, and I watched him go from, man, I don't think I can make it in real estate 6 months ago to, man, he's well on his way. And now his new goal is, excuse me, to bring his wife home and So we're always doing whiteboard
That's
sessions and mapping things out. And like you said, it kind of identifies, maybe this is a bad choice of words, but who needs help and who doesn't right now, right? So if this guy's thriving, he's on his way to his goal, and this guy isn't, we can easily identify that. So,
yeah,
man. No question.
What you said is true. Some people you got to lead where you're going to pick them up and you're going to carry them a little bit. And some people you're just going to sit back and say, great job. Awesome. Yeah, keep going. Keep moving, right? So you'll decide what leader you need to be for each
for who.
Team,
and for what. So.
Well, Tommy, man, great talking to you. Now you have another resource in your regional director. I'm here for you if you need anything. Keep doing a great job, and I can't wait to see how your whole drag racing punchline works out for you.
It's working out pretty good, so I appreciate that.
Awesome.
We'll be in touch, man.
All right, buddy. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.